Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever time of the day or day that you're listening to this. My good name is Yvette Wanzuu, and welcome to yet another episode of the Walking with Wanzuu podcast. I'm sorry it's been so long. I have taken a while to come back on here, but you know what? At least I'm going to try and do an episode every month. And so far, so good. I know initially when I got started on this season, the initial plan was to do at least an episode every 2 weeks, but it's just been very busy and things have been really hectic. But yeah, I'm here now, and that's all that matters. I miss you guys. How are you? How are you doing? How is life treating you? Is there any person who's engaged? Is anyone getting married? Is anyone having a baby? Who got a new job? Who got a new job? Who finally left that toxic and unserving relationship? And if you're in a good place, um, better than where I left you the last time we spoke, good for you. I'm sending you so much love and hugs and good vibes. And if you're going through a bit of a rough patch or a really rough patch, so it seems, I'm sending you love and good vibes nonetheless. And I'm sending you grace. More grace to you, honey. You're going to be just fine. But if you're here, yo, not me getting choked, but if you're here and you've been wondering, where did this madam go? I've been lifing it, y'all. I've been lifing it. And when I tell you, this was the year I said, as I was coming into the new year in January, I told God, first of all, there's a very special feeling I have about 2025. Five is my favorite number. But also, I remember feeling incredibly calm. So feeling like, things are going to be really good. Like there might be some incredible changes this year. But at the same time, not being too keen on giving myself too much pressure for a new year, new me, new this, new that, blah, blah, blah. I was going to go with the flow. But at the same time, I was incredibly expectant of good things that I was hoping was going to come and happen in the new year. And happen they did. First of all, this was the year I started when I was saying I'm going to conquer my mind. When I tell you, the universe said, hold my beer. I remember coming in as we were starting the first episode of this season, and I was talking to you guys about how a lot of people have lost their jobs coming into the new year, and there's a lot of uncertainty, but there's also the air of a lot of doom and gloom because of the political climate in my country, Kenya, and also just generally in the world, because you all went and voted Trump in, but that's a topic for another day. And generally, there's an air of thriving, but there's also an air of a lot of uncertainty. So there are those who are in different stages of embracing the different changes that are happening in the world. There are those who have gotten with the program and are generally just trying to keep up and bring other people along. And then there are those who, as a result of very abrupt changes, are now prompted to come into the understanding that there are some major changes going on, and a lot of people need to adjust and do whatever it is that they need to do to buffer themselves, but also to secure their children, their futures, and most importantly, if you're a parent, the future of your child or your children. So I of course have been wanting for a while now to change jobs. I know it's something that I was praying about. There was a time last year when I was really actively seeking other opportunities, but also when opportunities presented themselves that I could manage to do, a little this and a little that on the side, I was happy to embrace it and do that as well. And so, a couple of weeks ago, I want to say it's been a month now. I was called into my manager's office, and I was told that it's common knowledge that at the moment a lot of businesses are struggling in the country, and despite even the revenue coming in, which is still not that good, that just the policies and the political climate and just how the government is moving and how generally things are, it's hard for businesses to make money. Like it's a very tough time for business. And I would love to sit here and say that it was just my the organization that I was working for that was struggling, but it's been a crossboard for a lot of people. A lot of people, there have been massive layoffs. There have been people genuinely saying that like they're genuinely struggling to keep their businesses afloat, but you can't give up. And so you tweak this and you tweak that and you try and make some changes and you implement new things and new strategies. And so, unfortunately, one of the new strategies that they decided to implement was to let me go. And when I tell you, I kind of saw it coming, but I didn't see it coming that soon. You need to believe me because I was, first of all, when I got the news, I was numb. I didn't even know how to react. And I was, I'm a mom, I'm a parent, I have bills to pay, I take care of my own self, and I have all these responsibilities that require money because money, in a lot of ways, keeps the ball rolling. And so, me having this, my primary source of income cut off was a huge blow, was an incredibly huge blow. But I went, so I went home. I started to think about it to process. I had about 2 to 3 weeks to process, and figure out what it is that I needed to do. What are my next steps? I consulted with those close and dear to me, and just started now to process my new reality, that which was going to be after the month of March. I wasn't gonna have a job, and I just kept it going, but it's been really hard. I think one of the things that I have learned in this season is sometimes when you're caught up in something that you can genuinely feel you need to move away from, even your own energy shows it. Like I said, I was also kind of looking for other opportunities, and I could sense that I had an air of frustration, so to speak, and that's frustration with like a small f, but it was trickling down to small, small areas of my life. And I could feel so strongly that I needed to make a shift. I just couldn't jump. You just can't make a shift without knowing where to. Have I secured myself enough? And so the initial goal was always to try and secure myself as much as I can, so that even if I get to a point where I feel like, okay, the opportunities are not coming, let me create my own opportunity and move on from this, I will have secured myself to a certain extent. And so the lack of adequate security, the security was there, but adequate security was what was scary to me. But that being said, God has been good. He's been faithful. I'm just taking on this new season of my life, taking it one day at a time. It couldn't have come at a better time when my daughter was on holiday. And so we spent a huge chunk of the April holidays together. But also, the hustle continues. So I have been equally as busy, just trying to put things here and there and trying to make things work. And I would say that this is the first time I've ever been let go in my adult life. I started working when I was 21, and during all those times, it's me who's kind of removed myself from the work environment. And this was like I'd say my third job, like my third 9 to 5 going into working. And it was one of those jobs where I got when I was at a time when I was just telling myself, man, I really need to get a job. I really need to get a job. And eventually I got a job, and I was so excited about it. And even when I was talking to a friend who I had called, immediately I was offered the job, is there were endless opportunities of growth, and I just needed to put my foot in and just kind of experience everything else. And so seeing it coming to an end was bittersweet, but just like everything else, seasons come, have a beginning, and they have an end. And I was open and I embraced the end. So that has been me coming on here and encouraging some of you people who are let go in January. Now I'm encouraging myself too, because whether it's clear to you or not, I just joined you. I just joined you. Let me know if you were let go in January, declared redundant or for whatever reason. How are you doing? How are you doing really? How is this new phase? How is this new season treating you? How are you dealing with the transition? And feel free to hit me on my DMs as well. Let's talk, and let me know how it is that I too, as your little internet friend, can support you in this season. And I'm happy to share any resources that you might need as you navigate your new reality and transition to whatever good and better things that God has in store for you. Yes, so that has been us. Now, another thing that has been happening, Aki, the suicide rates. Hey, guys, we really to need to come in. We need to close in and encourage ourselves. And I know, although the internet comes in at a time where we feel like people are really connected on the interwebs, and your people are literally a phone call away, a text away, a DM away, a chat away. We have this illusion of connectedness that is not actually true. You can be responding to people or kind of engaging in chats and whatever, but you're not in it. And then the way life is going, it's so fast paced, and sometimes we harbor all these feelings that we don't talk about. We harbor feelings of loneliness. We harbor feelings of inadequacy. We harbor feelings of deep, deep sadness. That sometimes we can never quite understand where it's coming from. Like you can't explain, but you just know that you feel it, and you know how it makes you feel, and you know that it could be distant. It might come and go every now and then, or it might linger for too long, and you've just learned how to function with it. And I just want to say that we really, apart from showing up for ourselves, and trying to fight through every day, if you're really struggling with your mental health, is we need to be our sisters and our brothers keepers. I refuse to believe that the, the when you look at the people around you, it could be a colleague, it could be a friend, it could be a sister, it could even be your partner, and you're noticing a change in behavior, a change in their temperament, a change in their demeanor. There are signs. There are usually signs. It could be the way they talk, it could be the way they move. And if it's an extrovert or someone who hides their feelings really, really well, there are bound to be times when you might find them in bouts of sadness, or they might hint towards a certain thing that they're struggling with. And it's very important for us, according to your capacity, how and when you can, to try and look out for each other and try and see how you can alleviate someone's pain or someone's struggle or someone's suffering. I promise you, we really underestimate the small acts of kindness that could really impact someone in a positive way. Whether it's looking at someone in the eye when they're talking to you and giving them your attention, whether it's just checking in on someone, a quick phone call, a quick text, whether something crosses your mind and you text someone and you tell them, so and so, I was really thinking about you today, and maybe I've noticed that you've been struggling with this, or I just wanted to tell you that I love you and I appreciate you. Because even as we talk about the suicide rates, another thing that has been very evident as we get into, as we sink our nails deep into 2025, is that tomorrow is not guaranteed. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. Today you're with your loved one, tomorrow they're not here. Or today we could be here with you, and tomorrow you won't be here. And so it's very important to just live in the moment and to be very cognizant that tomorrow is not promised, and that life is a gift. And sometimes things can be so hard and they can be so tough, and just looking past everything that's going on and seeing the gift in life can be difficult. But I hope as you navigate that, you find small pockets of gratitude in whatever little thing that might be working out, because a lot of things might be going wrong, but there might be one thing, just that one thing that is going right, that you could be grateful for. And I hope you find it. You find it. I hope you identify whatever it is, and hold on to that, and hold on to the hope that things will get better. But most importantly, that you find people who can hold you at your weakest and who can support you however and whenever they can. I think you're the constant in your life. You're the one person who you come into this world with. You're the one person who you do life with, even up to the very end. And it's very important to rally behind yourself and love on yourself and fight for yourself. And this could happen in so many ways, whether it's identifying your negative traits and actively trying to see how you can transform yourself for the better, whether it's seeing your positive traits and shunning down the voices of self-criticism and self-doubt, and choosing to amplify those positive traits, and choosing to love on yourself and to celebrate yourself. And it doesn't happen overnight, but it's a muscle. It's just like going to the gym. It's a muscle that you build, and finding small pockets of joy for yourself, because before you're anything, before you're a worker, before You're a girlfriend, you're a boyfriend, you're a husband, you're a wife. Before you're a sister, you're a brother, you're a cousin. You are you. So I hope you learn to rock with yourself heavy and love yourself heavy and cheer yourself on heavy. But most importantly, I hope you get comfortable with yourself. I hope you learn to advocate for yourself. I hope you learn to look at aspects of yourself, both physical and spiritual and mental, that you can love on and that you can genuinely enjoy and celebrate. I hope you learn to sit with yourself. And I'm preaching to you as I preach to myself. Now, something that has really been interesting as I navigate this season is I've learned that when your life takes a tangent or when a change happens in your life, it doesn't happen necessarily happen to everybody. And those who choose to acknowledge the change and move with you during the transition do just that. They choose. It's been a very interesting season to be able to experience. I remember getting a number of phone calls from the few friends that I shared with that I had lost my job. And one of my friends was very validating. She told me that we don't talk enough about how loss makes people feel. And loss is just that. It's loss. It could be loss of a loved one, it could be loss of a relationship, it could be loss of a friendship, and in this case you've lost your job, like you've lost your source of income, and we can't just gloss over that, or we can't. And it's fine because at the end of the day, adulting doesn't stop. The bills need to be paid. You still need to be a parent, you still need to do what you need to do. But we can pause and say, this was unexpected, this is hurtful, this is hard to navigate, and you feel your feelings and then you just go through it. But it was very important for me as I went through this transition to validate my feelings. And another thing that I have done this year, guys, is I have really let go of the strong woman label. I know that my mental fortitude is immense. I know that my emotional fortitude is incredible. And God's grace has constantly been upon me through the different seasons of life that I have been in. But one thing I refuse to do is to dwell in suffering and carry it as a badge of honor. If I'm going through something, if I'm navigating something, and I feel like I personally don't have the wherewithal to carry it through, I will pause. I will see if I can figure it out. And if I can't, I will seek support. And that has been a game changer for me. But what it has also been is a huge eye opener for me because it has very quickly put in place for me um, who my support system is, and who truly the interactions and the relationships in my life that hold weight and that I am valued, and the ones where I have just been wasting my time and I need to make some tough decisions about either shedding them off. I don't want to use cutting off. I always feel like cutting off is so lethal. I don't know. That I can solely allow to either shed off or shed them off instantly. Um, like I had some very beautiful friendships coming into the new year, and one in particular was so heartwarming and incredibly, it looked promising, and it was just vibes, and it was a good time. And excuse my neighbors, it's when you're here just pouring out your heart is when people want to shout at the top of their lungs in the balconies. But I was talking about this friendship, and I really thought that something beautiful could come out of it. And I don't know what I did. I don't know what the other person did, but for some reason they just went ghost. They just went ghost. And these were those things that I was really looking forward to nurturing and to see where it goes, especially coming into the new year. And I tried to reach out a few times. I tried to make sense of what was going on. But I guess it's also just come to my attention that maybe their goals were not my goals. Maybe what they wanted to kind of achieve out of our interaction was very different from what I did. And maybe I was also just carried for idiots, and I just need to take my L and keep it pushing. And I think when we When we move away from people without having a conversation or without telling them what's truly going on, in that moment we feel like we're doing what's best for us and we're just doing us. But we rarely pause to kind of think of what effect we have on the other person. And so for me, as an anxious attacher, my instant response was to try and figure out, where did I go wrong? What did I do wrong? How can I fix it? But I remember catching myself and telling myself, Wanzuu, I'm gonna need you to pause. Do you remember we said that we need to work on this? You need to determine what your worth is. You need to determine what it is that you bring to the table. Where there are mistakes, figure them out and correct. But if you do nothing moving forward, sit with yourself, understand what your worth is, and keep it pushing. And that was hard for me to tell myself and to hear at the time, but it has really helped me. And there are days I wake up and I ask myself, because of course, then there were the phone calls and there were the cute inside jokes that you think and you instantly think of this person, but now you just have yourself to tell the jokes and you just hear crickets. And even when you share it with someone else, it doesn't bang the same way it was banging with this person. But it is what it is, and we move on. And you just say, okay, now in the moment when you're also during those times when you think about it, you get pangs of anger, you get pangs of sadness, and sadness and anger and frustration, when it's in regards to a relationship or a friendship or whatever kind of interaction, it's usually just love that has nowhere to go. That's just what it is. And when it has nowhere to go, then it festers and it could come out. The outpouring is something that you don't have control over, and it would come out in different ways. And I've just chosen to say, you know what? It is what it is. It was what it was. I'll just feel my feelings. I'll go through it. I'll feel the sadness. I'll feel the anger. I'll feel the bitterness. And then I'll sit back and say, it was better to have loved and lost than not to have loved at all. And just keep it pushing. And just pray that I get the grace and the wherewithal to move on from that particular interaction, to learn my lessons, and that my heart will heal, and I'll move on, because there's so much more of life to experience. And when you experience loss in that regard, in that moment it feels like nothing good is ever going to come. But I know of instances where I have ended friendships, especially in 2023, that I thought I would never bounce back from, that broke my whole heart. And I would go to sleep and I would cry and I would think I'll never bounce back from this. But look at us now. Look at us now. So I know enough to know that the future is bright and it's going to be fine. But experiencing loss, especially at a time where there's a lot of changes going on in my life, was that particular loss was very hard to, and is still very hard to navigate. But more grace to me, and if you're experiencing that as well, more grace to you. I think this was more of just a catch up to let you guys know what it is that has been going on with me, but also to kind of let you know that I've been seeing with a lot of concern, and even just following up on what it is that's going on. And this being a safe space where we just talk about life and the different transitions and the things that we're navigating in life, I just want to tell you that I see you, I appreciate you, I am praying for you, and I'm rooting for you, and I'm sending you so much good vibes. So, without ending this on a very somber note, where am I winning? When I tell you guys, I'm enjoying staying in my house. That feeling for waking up on a Monday and you're just like, oh man, why do I have to navigate traffic? Now where am I going? Oh, where am I? Staying at home has been a huge win for me. And I can see how I'm just slowing down, and it's trickling in. Even it's trickling in my parenting. I'm generally just a very relaxed parent now. I'm not too anxious. I'm not on edge all the time. And I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. My daughter has experienced a more relaxed, a more happier version of me. And I'm grateful from the bottom of my heart. I truly am grateful. And I'm optimistic, of course, for this season. I continue to seek out opportunities. I continue to do the best with what it is that I have in my hand right now. And one of the things that I know I really want to use this season of calm to do is to reconnect, is to kind of plug into my relationship with God. Whether that means spending some alone time, a lot more journaling, reading the Bible, taking in, just kind of feeding my spirit with God's word. That is something that I intentionally want to do, so that I maximize on this time and I am very conscious to tune into what the next phase and the next step of life will be moving forward. Thank you so much for listening. If you stayed up to this particular point, I am so grateful for this community. I'm so grateful for you being here. Please tell a friend to tell a friend. And if you don't know, or you forgot, or you just are joining us now, you can also find us on YouTube. The channel is Walking with Wanzuu, and on Spotify we are there, as well as many other streaming platforms. So please feel free to share with your friends, share with your mom, share with your sister. If you're an older audience, share with your kids. Let them know what's up. And I'm just happy to have brought you along this journey with me. When I tell you we've come full circle, because when I was starting this podcast, I was going through a season of transition, and I had literally just quit my job and COVID had come in. And it's been such a huge transition, and the growth and the progress has been evident. And I am just equally as eager to see what God has in store for me in the next few years to come. Sending you so much love and light and hugs. I will see you on the next one. Love you, mean it. Bye.